we're just going to do a quick round of the MarTech Roundup, and we're doing a little bit of a live stream on here. So anybody who's watching this just for the first little bit of this, we're going to live stream, and then after that, we're going to dive in and turn off the live stream, turn off the recordings, and the idea is for us to be able to openly share and talk privately and discreetly about our Marketo instances and some of the challenges. Any questions you have, we'll tackle them as a group. You know, just introduction. My name is Michael Tucker, founder of Conversion Store, Marketo champion, subject matter expert, and four-time now Marketo certified expert. Just finished working on with the committee on writing up the latest edition of the exam that everybody takes. So sorry if we put any difficult questions in there. But you know, I've been working in Marketo for 7 years, and I always find there's something new and something interesting to learn. And we don't have enough venues to be able to kind of share and open up on those experiences. So I'm hoping that this is a good space for everybody to be able to do that. All right, so a couple of things here for everybody who's joining us live. If you're watching us on the LinkedIn stream, feel free to click the link to join the Zoom room. At about 15 minutes in, we're gonna cut off the live stream. So glad to have you with us. And getting a sense of the roundup. If any of you were on the Marketo user group YouTube channel in 2020, you probably saw I was doing monthly roundups with Warren Stokes, who's a Marketo consultant out in England, where we talked about all the different Marketo user groups. And sadly, as those are kind of changing and kind of evolving away from being, you know, community user focused events, it doesn't mean that there's not a lot of different content that's happening in the whole MarTech space that we can talk about. So that's really our focus now. So a couple of things here. This is a safe space to learn. Ask whatever questions you want. No one will judge you or ridicule you. And if they do, send them to me because we will have words. It's a collaborative learning environment. So not really a salesy atmosphere. Sales is really important. But we want this to be about learning first and foremost. These are supposed to be fun, enjoyable sessions. So, you know, crack a joke. Tell us a funny story about something that happened. There's a term that's out there, moops. You know, different times when you accidentally blasted out your entire database in email that you weren't supposed to send out. Somebody once told me a story about their company going into IPO, and there's a quiet period before you go public as a company, and they accidentally sent out an email during that quiet period, which apparently the Securities and Exchange Commission doesn't think too kindly about. So these sort of things happen, but you know, fun, enjoyable sessions is you should feel comfortable being able to share an experience like that because it's a learning experience for everybody else that's working in their Marketo instances on a day-to-day basis. And the last thing is that exact point. It's a professional value added activity. So you should be able to learn something and be able to share that. And in the process of doing that, you and me and everybody else who invests the hour of their time to participate in this should come away a little bit smarter and a little bit wiser about how to use their Marketo instance. All right. So what's the Learning Lounge? We're going to go through introductory notes. We'll do a roundup. We'll go into breakout rooms. I think we're a small enough group where we can just stay into one, kind of like we did last time, which is really good. And then just kind of get together to discuss about what we've learned at the end. So important to kind of get some takeaways and grab some perspective on that. Our next event, so we are going to do this every month. This is the last one of 2022, a little bit earlier in the month because of this little thing called Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate. It seems to be the last half of December is always really quiet. So we moved it up a week for December. In January, we're going to go back to the last week of the month. So you have a little bit of time to work in your Marketo instance and deal with any questions you have. We will be sticking with Thursdays for now. January the 26th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon for those of you on the West Coast of North America. And my sincere apologies for anybody watching this overseas. I think that's really late in the evening or the morning your time. But happy to be able to kind of connect with you if you want to reach out to me directly with questions that you've got to be able to talk through those. Why do we do this? I get that a lot because I spend a lot of time trying to build community and trying to build interactive environments within the Marketo ecosystem. And it's important to understand that this is needed. Marketo is really complicated, and it's really there's no one way to do any individual thing. It's very bespoke in a lot of ways. We need to be able to have resources to allow people to freely fill in that learning gap. And we want to talk about some of the product updates that are always coming down the pipe to be able to keep Marketo relevant with the audiences that it serves. We also find that, too often we rely on this one core group of 40 people who shall not be named. And sadly, it's not enough. And honestly, they're just arbitrarily sort of picked. So it leaves a gap where, only the kind of 1%ers, if you will, of the Marketo community get access to the resources that the rest of us really need to be able to grow and build our marketing, our operations practices in order to make effective use of the platform. So this is an attempt to sort of democratize that a little bit. I think we should all take ownership and of learning inside of Marketo, and it's not just for the top 40 people that Marketo or Adobe's marketing department randomly deems as the people to listen to. And there's a lot of talent that we're losing because they're being bought up by all of the big consultancies, and all of the big consultancies themselves are being bought up as groups are trying to merge to participate in the Adobe Experience Cloud. What does that mean? It means for you, the chief marketing officer or the marketing director, that it's harder to find talent. And you're competing with groups that have deep pockets in order to be able to win that talent and get them to help you with the goals that you have for your marketing team, which is unfortunate, but that's just the nature of the free market economies. So hopefully by doing this, it helps to, again, democratize that a little bit, and that helps to keep things reasonable for you to be able to participate and compete in the various markets that you use Marketo to compete within. And finally, there just isn't enough time. We see a lot of like the Slack communities where people are racing to be able to catch up with what's happening in their in the questions that they want to ask. And I think they keep 90 days, if I remember correctly, on the free Slack instances. It's not enough to be able to keep up with. Or you're looking at discussion boards in like the Nation group or things like that, and realizing, oh, this is a post from 2016. The product has changed so much since then. So we want to try and keep things relevant. Having a live discussion like this once a month gives you the ability to be able to do that. Couple of neat things coming up, looking to 2023 and some of the things that are happening. Of course, you can find all of this on our Marketo Minutes site. It's marketominutes.com. A lot of resources there about upcoming events. These are just a few of them, plus all of our learning sessions that will be recorded. So short form videos that explain how to do really important things inside of Marketo that you won't find anywhere else. And they're written to be tangible and valid with you and the needs of your marketing. So conferences coming up, Digital Summit Chicago just started. We as a team took our team at Conversion Store to Digital Summit Dallas last week, had a great time that. Andrea, Desiree, you guys want to talk a little bit about Digital Summit in Dallas and what you got going to that event for the first time? Any highlights?
A lot of good content surrounding like just trends that are coming up in the next year and what marketing is moving to. The next step, we know it's become personalized, but the next step to that personalization and how to reach your audience exactly where they're at. I also learned time and time again that email is not dead, even though everyone likes to say it is dead. If it is dead, it's the undead because it's not going anywhere. So that was some of my like key takeaways from it.
For me, some of it was around the content and the SEO side of things and how to really make the most out of what you do have available and how to really hit those SEO targets. But also there's a lot of analytical side of things with the shift in Google Analytics to Google Analytics 4, and how to get yourself prepared for that. It was some of the more interesting things that I found as well during that.
I think the big point about all of this is that it gives you this, coming to conferences, like the live conferences back, first of all, for 2022, 2023, I think we're going to see a lot more of this. Really impressed to see the crowds that are coming out. It reminded me of some of the crowds before the pandemic. And then the discussions. I mean, I don't know. Everybody has a different way that they approach networking on this. I love networking at the crescent rounds inside of some of these sessions and the sit down areas more so than kind of the wine and cheese mixers. I just find that it's easier to sit down with somebody and you can pull out the laptops and get into really long form discussions and learn a lot. Some of the early speakers in some of our early Marketo user groups that you'll see inside of the Marketo user group YouTube channel were people that I met at early Marketo Summit conferences. And so highly encourage you to participate in that. One that I am really looking forward to participating, I haven't done it yet, is the MarTech conference, which will be martech.org is Scott Brinker's group. I love their group and just everything that I've seen from it, because it has that dichotomy. There's different people that you'll see there. It's not just Adobe that's there. It's everybody. You'll see all the different vendors that'll be participating in this, all of the different tools that you might use, all sorts of different areas. Rollworks was at the Digital Summit conference. They'll be at the MarTech conference. You'll see all of the other, if you think about the old LaunchPoint ecosystem and the Adobe Exchange ecosystem, a good representative portion will be at this MarTech conference. And so it's something that I'm really looking forward to. When I look at all the different conferences that exist in this space, I think it's the best bang for your buck and it's the best value for every dollar that you want to spend, because it's an investment that you need to be able to make in yourself, in your team, and in the technology and the tech stacks that you want to use to be able to provide the best options for your business. So really looking at that. They also just announced that they're going to be accepting speaker submissions. So we're going to put our name in the hat, and I'm hoping that we'll have the opportunity to be able to present at this and participate in MarTech conference, just the way that we have in previous Marketo Summits events. And in lieu of that, our next Marketo user group is going to be coming up in January. So January the 12th. It'll be about marketing operations in uncertain times. So let's call a spade a spade. 2023, if you believe all the economists, we're in for some pretty choppy waters next year. And it's important to be able to understand, what's involved in building pipeline, what's involved in converting that pipeline next year. And so this is really about, what sort of steps that you can take in order to be able to help to bolster yourself and your team as you're preparing to kind of head into those choppier waters, right? So definitely something to keep in mind. January the 12th, 2023. If you go to conversionstore.com, which is our homepage, up at the top, we'll have a link to the Marketo user groups. It's probably the fastest way to be able to register to attend this event. Couple of learning resources. So on marketominutes.com, you can join our Marketo user group on LinkedIn, and our Marketo Minutes LinkedIn page will have all of the different blog posts and different videos and different learning content that you'll see there. If you subscribe to Marketo Minutes on YouTube, you just go ahead and look it up on YouTube. You'll get a lot of notifications about upcoming videos there. We also have a section where we're talking about some of these upcoming events. So we only talked about 2 of them here. Guarantee you there's a lot more that are coming out. Groups like the American Marketing Association and the Association of National Advertisers are in really interesting events that a lot of people, a lot of marketers, especially in our B2B space, attend to be able to learn about a lot of the other different partner opportunities that you'll see with like different softwares that you can bolt into Marketo. So definitely recommend that you go to those. And then one thing I wanted to mention to you, because it's the end of the year, be remiss to not mention that at Conversion Store, we do marketing automation consulting, and we work with all sorts of different groups over the last 7 years on Marketo instances. For the month of December, for new clients, we see a lot of questions that came up here where we just don't have the time to get into all of them. But if you have a Marketo instance and are interested in, having a longer session with us and getting access to our knowledge base and some of the other learning resources that we've developed over the years, we are going to do a limited time offer where we're going to just discount our initial training. And this is on your instance. So it's not one of these cookie cutter training sessions. It's different than if you were to read the Marketo documentation. We will go into your instance, take a look at it, and then teach you something about your instance. If you're new to your Marketo instance, or maybe you've had a new member of your team, it's a good way to be able to kind of adapt to help them onboard successfully and help you get an understanding of how to be able to use Marketo successfully with the way it's been implemented inside of your company. It's a lot less of a commitment than having to make a full-time hire too, to just have us go in, use our expertise to be able to kind of take a look at it. And then when we're done, we're done. If you like the information, and of course we offer full end-to-end services to be able to help you with all sorts of areas of your marketing operations requirements, but you don't have to do that. You could just go in and make use out of it. So if you are interested in that, it's our one and only kind of mention of this during this session. But feel free to reach out to me. I'm Michael@conversionstore.com or just hello@conversionstore.com. And we're going to do this up until the end of the year. So we're closed between Christmas and New Year's. But if you email us during that time anyway, I got to tell you, as a founder, I'm probably going to be checking my email anyway. All right. So with that, that's the one after we do this. So first of all, let me take off the recording. And everybody who is watching this on the live stream, thank you for joining and watching this. If you would like to, hopefully you're watching this when we're meeting, you can see the link on Zoom to join directly. If not, sign up on the Marketo Minutes site and for the next one in January. And in the meantime, we're great to see you. We're going to jump into the conversation and talk a little Marketo. So recording stopped.